digestive enzymes and improving your digestion is critical to understand for everybody, because everybody will have digestive issues at some stage, and with the increasing use of antibiotics and antibacterial sprays and wipes and all these other things that are putting pressure on it, not to mention the food additives and so on, people are really going to struggle with digestion. And the first basic thing is to get the digestive enzymes working for yourself first, then we supplement. And so I've summarized it here. There are lifestyle factors. First of all, slow down when you eat. You can't produce the enzymes quick enough if you're rushing your food down. It just won't work, particularly in the mouth. The longer you take to savor it, think about it, look at it, one mouthful, put the fork down, the better your digestion is. The more your salivary glands have a chance to produce enough so that they're ready to digest. And then it sits in the top of the stomach, as you already know, because you've seen part 1 and 2 of this. These are critical, so please make sure you check those videos out, subscribe below, and share this information. So we've got slow down, make sure you chew. The more you chew, the better it is. Now, if you don't want to chew, that's fine, smoothie it. And that way it breaks open all the hard component parts of it, literally, and releases the inside enzymes of the veggies. I'm not talking about smoothing meat, by the way. And of course, lower your stress. Simple strategies that can make a really big difference. Now, with that in mind, then we go to, okay, what do we do in terms of food prep? Now, I've already mentioned meat tenderizing. And if you bang your meat quite a lot, you're going to release the cathepsin, which is an enzyme already in meat, and other enzymes, by the way, but enzyme in meat will start to pre-digestion. That's why it becomes a lot more tender. Now, if you want to take that further, you can also apply some of the little ones I'll tell you about here later, like pawpaw or papaya. I'm not really sure which one it is, but they're both actually effective, but they're rich in enzymes, and you'll put them on the meat and they start to pre-digest meat. Or another way, even vinegar works that way. And I believe sodium bicarb too. I'm not sure how the bicarb interaction works, but all of those work to help pre-digest and tenderize meat. These are some of the secrets that chefs will tell you. So you can tenderize it, you can beat it, you can make it into a broth. Now, cooking it into a broth breaks everything down physically and a little bit chemically. It makes it a lot easier in your stomach for all the existing enzymes and things to work on it, because they can actually get to it. So it actually says thank you. So if you're any gut issues, broths are fantastic. Lots of meat, lots of broths, lots of the bone, because out of the bone comes of the other nutrients as well. With your veggies, you can sprout them. There are 2 options there. I should put up here smoothies too. So you can sprout things, which increases the enzyme activity in them already and starts to almost, in a sense, pre-digest the things for you. Or smoothies. And I love smoothies because they're simple. Now, the problem with smoothies is you don't get to chew as much, but you've got so much liquid and amylase coming out of the plants, because when you break them open, it releases the amylase from the actual nuts and seeds and things that you're smoothing. And then we look at enzyme-rich foods. These are foods that you can add to every meal or use in your cooking somehow. Preferably, remember, you don't want to heat these up. And you've got things like your fermented foods, all of your fermented foods, sauerkraut, I've listed up here, miso, but don't heat it above 50. Soya sauce is a great one. These are all rich in enzymes because they've literally been fermented. The microorganisms in there are little enzyme factories, as I've already highlighted, and so you get them. Anything fermented is going to be marvelous. Kombucha, all of those things, they're going to add vinegar, absolutely brilliant. Add with the meals, and as a result, it doesn't just change the acid in the stomach, it adds some enzymes for digestion. Probiotics as well, I've mentioned. Then you've got the real foods that can make a big difference. And they're the ones that are really rich: mango, kiwi, papaya, pineapple, and figs. Now, it's no coincidence that they are the ones that also help with constipation, and they've been repeatedly shown to improve gut health movement. So win-win-win situation here when you start adding these foods in. Now, of course, Papaya has papain, and bromelain is in pineapple, and you can get those as supplements as well, which are great because the ones that aren't used go into your body and become very anti-inflammatory. Other things you can use, of course, is honey. Remember, you don't heat these, remember, please. Honey, marvelous, rich in enzymes. Make sure it's a good raw honey, preferably a local raw honey. Fresh herbs and spices, and the king of all those appears to be ginger. So adding lots of fresh herbs and spices. These aren't the dried ones. These are the ones out of your garden or out of my garden. And then the last part about this, so you've got all the foods, is the supplements. And a lot of people say, well, what supplements do I take? I recommend you actually do take supplements for the simple reason it will just improve the ease of your digestive system. And see how it goes for a couple of months. Don't expect miracles overnight. But we've got the proteases for protein, lipase for fat, amylase for starches. And there's another one that's commonly sold out there, and it helps as a digestive enzyme, an anti-inflammatory enzyme. It's called serrapeptase. It's got a couple of variations that are a little bit longer, so I gave you the small one, but if it looks like that, it is the same. Now, the problem with these is that there are vegan versions, vegetarian versions, and omnivorous versions. Some of these also come from fungi, and people go, oh, hold on, I don't know. All of them have been thoroughly tested. And then people say, well, what about how much do I take? Well, read the instructions because they all have different units. And I would have to run a whole other video just on the different units that they use. So look at the units, compare them, see which ones you want to get, the vegan, the vegetarian, or the ones that, and then you mix. Now, they've also, as I said, got papain and bromelain, which are proteases. So to help with the digestion in the stomach in particular, then adding these two is great as well. And these have been shown up to have huge anti-inflammatory effects on arthritis and metabolic syndrome conditions and a whole raft of other things. So great to put those in as your regime. And the final thing I want to add in, it's not an enzyme, so to speak, but it activates the enzymes in your stomach. And given that you're probably the average age of my watchers here of 50, 55, your HCl levels are already dropping down. And if you can add some betaine hydrochloric, again, according to the prescription doses on there, when you eat food. Now, that's the other thing here. These can be consumed about half an hour before food, towards any time half an hour to consumption of food. So the idea is to have them in there when the food is starting to digest. They get through, most of them get through into the small intestine and do their work there. And so it's a balance of getting all of these working together. The things you can do and the things you can supplement. This is a starting point for rebuilding your gut health. Have a look at all my other videos out there. I've got a huge number, and if you tell me what you want, I'll actually find some research on it too. So subscribe to the channel and share this information.